you are a business owner and you're struggling to grow your business and you're wondering why, what I'm about to show you just could be the exact solution that you're looking for. This automation system that I'm about to show you is used by companies all over the world of all sizes, including the biggest companies like Salesforce, Google, Apple, Microsoft, you name it, as well as the smallest companies in the world like the 5-person marketing agency team. And it's used by all of these different companies because it works. I've personally worked at companies that have used rigorous systems like this and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on making sure that this system is correct for their business. The system that I'm talking about is a lead scoring system. What this system allows you to do is essentially take an incoming lead and apply a score to it based on a certain set of criteria so that you or your sales team can actually focus on the right leads. What this gives you is an immediate bump in your sales conversion rate so that you don't have to worry about working on unqualified leads anymore. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, in this video, I'm going to walk through the whole entire flow of how I would set this up, as well as go into Make.com and show you exactly node by node how to build a very simple lead scoring system for yourself. Let's dive right in. And just before we dive in, if you are new to my channel, my name is Nick. I run StellarStream AI. We are an AI workflow automation consultancy helping businesses of all sizes build and implement systems just like this in their business. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So like I like to do before any automation system build, I always like to have a process map that I like to build in Miro. You can use your tool of choice. Whimsical, I know, is another one that people like to use. I love Miro with my whole heart. So I use Miro for all of my process maps. So what I'm going to walk through here is essentially the steps that we'll need to do in order to complete this simple lead scoring system, right? So essentially there are 6 different nodes or actions that we'll have within this lead scoring system. So the first step that we'll have in this system is a lead capture form. So essentially what needs to happen here is we need to capture the lead data that's coming in order to give our system the ability to score it and therefore, pass that score on to our sales team or have that score for ourselves so that we can, accurately qualify that lead. So we'll have a lead capture form. This can be absolutely anything is what I like to tell people. It can be a program application form. It can be embedded on a landing page. It can be its own sort of lead capture form that you just have send to people via LinkedIn or other DMs. It can be a VSL where you have a different form capture. It could be a form capture that you have on your Wix or your Squarespace, anywhere on your website. Anywhere that you can capture information about someone that you have no information about, therefore turning them into a lead, that is a lead capture form. I just like to make that distinction because a lot of people sort of get confused and they're like, I don't have a lead capture form, but they have a website with a form on it. That is one example of a lead capture form. Cool. So after we do that, then what we're going to do is we need to go and learn more about that lead, right? The entire point of this lead scoring system is that it's going to spit out this score that we can then use to orient us on what is the best leads that we should talk to. In order for us to do that and create that score, we need more information. We need more data, right? And so there's 2 ways that you can get that data. The first way is by just asking your lead. But what that does is it usually adds a lot of friction to that process, right? Imagine if you had a lead capture form that had, 25 questions on it or even 10 questions on it. There's a good chance that a lot of those leads are not going to fill out the whole thing because that's a lot of questions. The second way is actually using AI and automation. So that's the way that we're going to use today. So what we're going to do is we're going to extract 2 major pieces of information. The first is their entire LinkedIn profile. So we're going to learn a whole bunch of information about them. And then secondly, we're also going to go extract all of the content on their website, right? So by getting these 2 large pieces of information, we can then take all of that and feed that into our AI model, which in this case will be ChatGPT, where we can go do a bunch of analysis, which will then produce the score, which will then we'll send into our CRM, and then we'll notify our team via Slack. That is the process flow that we're going to have for this simple lead scoring system. And so now what I'm going to do is dive into Make.com and we'll go through exactly how this looks. All right, so here we are on Make.com. So now we're just going to go ahead and get started building out this system node by node. So you can follow along if you'd like and build the system alongside me. So we have a brand new scenario here in Make.com. So the first thing that we need to do, if we remember, is we need to set up our lead capture form, right? We need to set up the trigger for this entire automation, which is going to be our lead capture form. You can use whatever sort of form that you like, as I was going over in the last piece on the Miro. Personally, for a really easy form builder, I like to use a tool called Tally. If you don't know it, it's super easy. It's basically, you can think of it as like the Notion of form builders. So what I'm going to do is we'll create the Tally, and we'll select, let me just go back here so you can see. I did that a little bit quickly. We'll go into here and we'll select Tally, and we will select watch new responses. This is basically going to trigger when anytime one of our Tally forms is submitted. So I'm coming into Tally here, and we're going to create a super basic lead capture form. So we're just going to call this StellarStream AI demo lead capture form, right? If you were creating this yourself, you might call it like a book a call form or something like that, or any sort of form that you can give them that they will fill out their information. Bonus points here if you can actually make this a lead magnet, right? Because then you're sort of giving people value in exchange for filling out some data. I'm just going to show you the very basic way here, which is just a simple form. So then we just click that button to start a brand new form here. You can add a logo, all these different covers if you'd like. We'll just keep that one nice and pink. So then what we're going to do here is we're just going to have some very simple questions. So we can say something like, first of all, we're going to only collect a few things. The first thing we're going to collect is name. What is your name? Then the next thing that we're going to collect is actually their website link. So like I was saying before, we want to keep our forms as short as possible. What this does is gives us the highest possible chance of a lead filling out that form completely, which is obviously our goal, right? So, and so what we're going to ask here is just 3 questions. All we're going to ask is, what is your name? What is your website URL? And what is your LinkedIn URL? Now, before the age of AI and automation, having just those pieces of information would be really tough to go and generate a lead score for that, because you'd have to do a whole bunch of information, go to their website, go to their LinkedIn, probably find the company that they're at, and do a whole bunch of learning. But that's exactly what we're going to automate here, and I'll show you how. So first, we're going to ask for name. The second one is website URL. So we can say like Jake Jones. Website URL, we don't need to put in a key here. And then the last thing we're going to ask is, what is your LinkedIn URL, right? And that's all we're going to have on this form, right? Super basic, 3 simple questions: name, website, and URL, right? So I'm just going to come here and click, I'm just going to type YouTube right here, so it's really obvious the one that we're doing, and we're going to click publish, right? So now what you can see when I go to this link for this Tally form, this is what the new Tally form looks like, right? Here's the YouTube StellarStream AI demo lead capture form. What is your name, website URL, and LinkedIn URL? You can imagine if you sent this to somebody, it'd be a really easy way to just collect some information, right? But what we're going to do is fully automate this thing. So back to our Make.com scenario, we're going to come here and click add, because we're going to create a new webhook. I have already connected up my Tally. If you haven't connected Tally before, go ahead and just create a new connection. Form ID, we're going to select our form that we just created, YouTube StellarStream AI demo lead capture form, and I'm going to hit save. So now what's going to happen is every single time we submit a new form from that Tally, this automation will fire. Great. So now we've done step 1 of the flow, which is create a lead capture form. So if I go back here, the next steps that we want to do is actually go and do the extraction ourselves, right? So I'm actually going to do these in flip-flop order. First, we're going to do the website content, and then we're going to have a really special way to extract a LinkedIn profile, maybe one you haven't seen before. And it's going to be a really, really clever way and cheap way. This was actually going to be a free way to go and get a whole bunch of good information from the LinkedIn. So the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to include an HTTP request. And what we're going to do here is click make a request. And we're going to do a get method. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and get and scrape all the information in HTML from the website that we're getting from the form, right? So all you need to do is put in the website URL, map in the website URL from the Tally. The method should be get, and then we're going to click yes to parse response. You don't need to put anything here in the headers or body, right? And I always like to be super clean with my, oops, not this one, super clean. And I say get website HTML, right? And we can call this one new lead cap form submission. I always like to be super clean on the naming because it just makes everything a lot easier to debug when you get in there. Okay, now that we've set this up, the next thing that we're going to do is test this so far. So I'm going to click run once so that this make.com form scenario waits for the form. So I'm just going to put Jake Jones, website URL. I'm going to actually put my website, StellarStreamAI.com. So I'm going to take this one and drop it into website URL. And LinkedIn URL, I'm just going to use my LinkedIn URL to make this easy. So imagine this is exactly how a lead would put in this information for this form, and then you just hit submit, right? So at this point, the lead, all they've done is just submitted 3 questions. And so now what's happened is Make has caught this, and it has extracted, if I come here to data, all of my website URL that lives on my website, right? So it pulls every single bit here. It's a huge file and bit of information here about all the different things that are living on my website. It looks like gibberish. I promise this is we're going to turn it into magic here. So the next thing that we're going to do is go to a text parser, and we need to take all that HTML and convert it into text that's a little bit more readable, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to map in all of that data that has come from our HTTP module, and we're going to hit save anyway. And then what we're going to do, just so you can see it, is I'm going to run this one more time. I'm going to hit run one more time, and we're going to come back and we're going to submit it again, just so you can see exactly what that module helps us do. So I'm just going to say Jake Jones, website URL is this one, and I come back and grab my LinkedIn URL here, and we're going to submit it one more time, this time with the text parser module, and you're going to be able to see in the output from going from that entire sort of gibberish to now we have actual words that we can use here, right? It actually pulled in my book a free strategy call. It gathered in, we help agencies and B2B service providers grow faster and more profitably. It has my free discovery call offer that I have. It even has some quotes that I have from past clients. So all this good information that I'm publishing on my website, which again, your lead might be publishing on their website, all of that is good information that we can then use to help us determine a lead score, right? So now we have done the website part of this flow. We've created our lead capture form. We've done our website content. Now we're going to do the fun part of extracting a LinkedIn profile. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to use a tool called, we're going to use a raw API coming from a site called Rapid API. So if you don't know Rapid API, I use it all the time in many of my builds. To me, it's like the level up that you need to be learning as an AI automation person. They have like thousands of different raw APIs that you can use in here, including ones for LinkedIn, TikTok, all the social media platforms, anything that you need to sort of interact with, probably there's an API and a Rapid API. So what I just did is I typed in LinkedIn at the top here, and basically what I'm looking for is an API that will allow us to get all the information from a LinkedIn post, from a LinkedIn profile using a profile URL. So I've already done some research on this. There's a whole bunch of them over here. This one, fresh LinkedIn profile data, is one that works really well. I've actually used it for a few different client builds. So what you can do is you can sign up for Rapid API and then just do the search for all those different APIs, and you should be able to drop in. Once you click a specific provider of an API, it'll actually take you to this page where you can see a bunch of different information about the different plans. They basically have a bunch of different plans. I'm not going to get too into that, but this basic plan allows us to have, I think, 100 requests completely for free every single month. So we can essentially run this automation 100 times and do 100 different lead scores every single month completely for free. So it's pretty generous. So over here on the left, we're going to come here and get personal profile. And basically what this does is it gives us the information that we need in order to create this API call, right? So what we're going to do is just copy this URL for now. I'm going to copy this here. Just going to copy it like this. And then I'm going to come over back to my scenario, and I'm going to make another HTTP request. And what we're going to do here is make a request. And this time, I think it's actually still a GET, and we're going to plug in our URL here that we get from our Rapid API. And then we're going to grab the different headers. So we're going to grab Rapid API host, and we're going to add that in as a header. Come back here. I'm going to pull it over here so it's closer. fresh LinkedIn profile API.com. We're going to add the other bit of the header. And then we're going to add the second header here into name. And then their API key will be here. And I will be changing this so you don't need to see it afterwards. And then what we're going to do here is we need to change the URL here. So just give me 1 second and I'll show you how this gets inserted. All right, sorry about that. I was just confirming something. So I'm actually going to come back here and reset here. So essentially what we did was, again, we took the URL from Rapid API and we have inserted it into the URL function in our HTTP request, right? So essentially, you need to know a little bit here about how APIs work, but essentially what we need to do is replace the URL or change the URL such that it will automatically include sort of the variable LinkedIn URLs that we're getting from our tally form, right? So what I've done here is essentially where it says question mark is I sort of think of it as where LinkedIn URL equals the LinkedIn URL from our tally form. We're mapping that in. And then there was just some, we can delete this part right here. This was sort of, this threw me an error there in a second. So now what we've done is created our LinkedIn URL. We've created our HTTP request to go and get every single LinkedIn URL that we're getting from our tally form, right? And then we come down here and we click parse response. I'm gonna hit OK and then hit save. So, and then what we're gonna do is just test this module individually. So I'm gonna go back and take my LinkedIn URL. We are gonna click here, we're gonna click run this module only. We're gonna drop in the LinkedIn URL, which again will be variable as different people submit our lead capture form. And then we come back, we got a 200 status code, which is a good thing. And you can see within data, all of this amazing information about me that has been pulled from my LinkedIn URL. So we know exactly, I know my city, company name, the domain name, company range, software development. We have all of my education here. We have all of my different experiences, right? Like job experiences. We have my headline, my full name, how many followers I have, my job title, of course. Everything. We have all of this information about my LinkedIn profile just from getting my LinkedIn profile URL, right? So this is sort of the magic of using Rapid API. It's incredibly cheap and you get all of this amazing information that we can then use down the line. So now we've done the third step of the process. We've done lead capture form. We have built the extraction of the website content and the extraction of the LinkedIn profile URL. So now what we're going to do is build the form to go and do the analysis itself for our lead scoring, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to use OpenAI for this. We're going to use ChatGPT. So we're going to click OpenAI. What we're going to do is create a completion, connect that up. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to use, for this one, we're just going to use GPT-4.0. And we are going to create our prompt here. So what I'm going to do is just pause the video and then I'll show you the full prompt after. You don't need to watch me create this prompt. I will share this prompt with you guys afterwards if you're interested, so you can have it and just copy paste it. But let me just pause the video and I'll come back in a second. All right, now let's go over the system prompt and then we're going to test this thing. So I basically am going to walk you through the prompt here. I always like to start with the system prompt. You are an expert AI lead scoring machine for StellarStream AI, an AI workflow automation consultancy. I always like to keep my system prompts super short. I just find that it provides the best results that way. Then we have a pretty long user prompt here, basically giving it all the context that it needs. So I give a whole bunch of context on who StellarStream AI is and who my ideal customer profile is. Again, when you get this prompt, adapt this for yourself and your business, of course, because that is the information that the model is going to use to create your lead score, right? Role, basically they're going to receive information about the lead that has just submitted a form, and their task is to analyze the information. They're going to score it A, B, C, D, or F. And they're also going to give an explanation of their scoring that should be no more than 2 to 3 sentences. The rules-wise, it needs to provide the answer in a JSON format with a lead score and score explanation. And then I'm passing in all of the lead information that we got from the prior nodes in this flow. So our company website data came from the text parser node, and then I'm feeding it all of the LinkedIn profile data for the lead, right? So name, about, headline, company name, job title, industry, and employee range. Of course, you can put in a whole bunch more information here that is going to make the analysis even richer. You can give it more input about the LinkedIn profile. You can give it all the experiences, everything else that we're getting here. You can also give it a ton more information about who your ideal customer is to make this analysis even tighter and even better. This is a very simple rudimentary way just to sort of show you how this thing works. I put temperature at 0.5, and then the real kicker here is I put response format as JSON object. It's a new feature that they've launched here in Make. And we want to parse the JSON response here at the end. So that is the walkthrough of the AI agent lead scoring analysis. I'm just going to change this to get LI profile data. So now we have all of our nodes labeled here for the most part. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to test this thing one more so you can see what this result looks like, right? So I'm going to come back here. We're actually going to use a different person here. We're going to use Dan Koh. I don't know if you guys know Dan Koh. He's a pretty influential LinkedIn influencer. He's got 145,000 followers. So I'm going to come here. Here's LinkedIn URL. And then here is Dan's homepage where he talks about all his new sort of personal branding resources that he has on his website. So now we're going to click submit. Again, imagine that Dan Koh just submitted my lead capture form. Now we can see that it has gone and scraped his website URL. It has gone and gotten his profile data super fast. And I think it was like 3 seconds here. It has gone and produced our result. It gave Dan a lead score of C. And it says Dan's company, Cortex, falls within the ideal employer range of 11,200, but focus on higher education and personal branding may not align perfectly with their target market of digital agencies, software companies, and online service providers. Not bad, given that I only gave it a couple sentences of context, right? Again, you can make this way better, give it more information, feed it examples of what good A and B scores are, and bad examples of what F scores are, and that is a great way to make this even tighter, right? So now that we have our analysis, the last step here is we just need to put this somewhere. We need to put it into our CRM. Let's just say for now that this is a Google Sheet. So what I'm going to do is just go and create a new Google Sheet, and we can call this our CRM. Again, you could literally put whatever CRM that you want here. Hopefully you aren't using a Google Sheet as your CRM. You're using something like Airtable or HubSpot or whatever it is. So we're just going to create a blank spreadsheet here. And we're going to call this new leads. Let's come here and say new leads from lead capture. Leads from lead capture form. And then we're going to not have this. We're going to say, we're going to capture all this information that we got, right? So we're going to capture full name. We're going to capture LI profile URL. We're going to capture lead score, lead. We're going to capture score explanation, and a bunch of whole other, like company name. I think we got company domain. You could add all of the fields here essentially that we got from all of our different nodes. We can add here as our CRM, let's call it, right? Okay, so now if I go back to our make scenario, we should be able to come in here and click spreadsheet ID. Hopefully it will tell us new lead from lead capture form, boom. And then we're basically going to map in all the information that we just got, right? So sheet 1, table contains headers, yes. So we're going to capture our full name. So this we got from our LinkedIn profile. You could actually even take it directly from the lead capture form node, but I'm just going to take it from the profile data. It's a little bit slow here. Okay, we're going to take full name here. Profile URL, we're also going to take from here. Our lead score, we are going to take from our agent. So lead score of C. Score explanation, we are going to take also from our agent. And you can see how the parse results here was so helpful because we didn't have to have any extra nodes or anything like that to actually parse the response. Company name, we're going to take as well from here. Company is called Cortex. Company domain is here as well, cortex.co. And that is all the fields that we're going to capture. So that was the second to last step on our flow here. And the last one is really that we're just going to send a Slack notification. So what you would do here is just click create a message in Slack. And then we could just have some sort of pick whatever channel it is that you want to do. Personally, what I recommend is going into your Slack channel or whatever channel you use for your internal communications and create a specific channel for new lead submissions or something like that. You can say something like, hey, you have a new lead from, and then we can insert dynamic variables here. What we can do here is insert from Dan at Cortex. His score is C. Explanation is here. And then we give the score explanation, right? So now your sales team has all of that context every single time a new lead comes in, and of exactly what that score is. So they have a good idea of where to go prioritize, right? You could do a whole bunch of other things with this, just by the way. You could even add a router here and basically route different leads based on the score. So you can add everybody into your CRM, but maybe you only want to notify your sales teams of the A and B scores, for instance, right? And for the other scores, you want to enroll them in a nurture sequence right away and not have them talk to your sales team. The possibilities are endless for what you can do once you have this score. I'm just showing you a very, very simple version. Okay, so we have completed all of our steps here. We've created our Tally lead capture form. We're scraping our website. We are scraping the LinkedIn profile. We're generating our lead score, adding it to our CRM, and notifying our sales team or our founders or whoever it is. Last thing we're going to do here is just going to run this one more time so you can see the entire flow in its beautiful entirety. We're going to use Dan Co again. Dan Co. We're going to come back here and take the danco.com, which is his website. We're going to take Dan's LinkedIn URL, drop it into LinkedIn URL, and we're going to hit submit. And then what we're hopefully going to see is, again, we'll get Dan scored one more time, and then we will hopefully have Dan as our new lead in our CRM. Wow, that one was extremely fast. So if I come over here to new leads in our spreadsheet, now we have Dan Co. We have Dan's LinkedIn profile. We see he's a lead score of C. We see the entire lead explanation that our agent has given us, company name, company domain. All of this is here directly in our CRM. And then I can't show you the Slack, but I also get a Slack notification saying that we have a new lead. So I hope this made sense. This is a really, really rough and dirty way to get an automated lead scoring system set up. Again, a whole bunch of tweaks you can make, feeding it more data, giving the agent some more information about you and your company so that you can make that lead score even tighter. Tons of applications that you can do with this, but this is a really powerful flow that would take, an entire human, if not two humans, to go and do all of this, depending on how much leads you have. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful. You just saw how to create a very simple automated lead scoring system, and now you know how to build one all by yourself. If you did find this video helpful, please like. It'll really support my channel. Comment, let me know how you liked it or didn't like it. Either way is great. It'll be good feedback for me. And share it with someone that you think would find helpful, that you think they would find helpful. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.